boys. Down Main Street comes the band, awaited grand and glorious noise. Horses are prancing, knights advancing, helmets gleaming, pennons streaming. Cleopatra's on the throne, that golden hair is all her own.
The Housatonic at Stockbridge is also an orchestral piece that followed his original ideas just after his honeymoon. He wanted to capture in more complex sound the real sound image of that event: early morning, a church choir practicing, mists, the feel and look of the river. How do you translate it into sound? He didn't have a lot of experience writing for orchestra or in hearing people play his music. He would get theater orchestras, small groups, to play particular ideas and experiments. But when it comes to a piece like this, it's an absolute triumph over inexperience to be producing such an amazing texture. The bottom sound is the depth of the river, the low strings, and then there are above that slightly more moving lines that represent the surface of the water, and above that a more magical mix of strings in multiple layers, each playing at a different speed and meandering through different kinds of pitches. It ends up being a sonic world that is unique and is admired by so many people when they hear it.
So in the second movement, the second theme is based on a college song. Where, oh, where are the verdant freshmen? And here is what Ives does with that tune.
Again, we're looking at an artist who had so much to say as a citizen. That's really it from my point of view. The notion of the artist and the citizen coming together in his music that makes us want to understand with as much empathy as we can bring his words. I think one of the profound lessons that Ives has to teach us is how deeply immersed he was in the notion of democracy, both as cultural process and political process. For him, the notion of access to the public mind and the access to the public heart through words and through music was very essential to his life, was really the essence of his mission as an artist. So in that, he's such a model for our struggle to understand how to make art and democracy harmonize.
Remarkably, you could say that Ives reconciles a personal and iconoclastic artistic voice with the popular mind. Notwithstanding the radical newness of his musical idiom and the challenges that it poses, we rather paradoxically feel him grounded in a nation, in its voice. He heeded Ralph Waldo Emerson's call to break the cultural umbilical cord to Europe. And we too should heed Ives's call. In fact, I think it's past time that we did so. When Bernstein gave the premiere of Ives' Second Symphony and recorded it in the 50s, that was noticed. It was acclaimed. People were amazed. But somehow the symphony didn't get that much played or recorded. And I find that nowadays, there are a lot of American orchestras that don't know Ives' Second Symphony, and a lot of music directors in the United States who don't, and a lot of American conductors for whom it's not part of their repertoire. I'm not even sure how that happened, except that I do know that as Americans, we have failed to curate and use our musical past. Ives is somebody who should be as well known, as iconic to Americans generally as Walt Whitman or Mark Twain or Herman Melville. In fact, I would say all these guys inhabit an American trope. I call it the self-made genius. The genius who forges his own original way through the American cultural wilderness.